So I have a problem with goal setting. Not in general, not the idea of goal setting. We need goals, otherwise we don't really know where we're going unless we've got that goal, kind of that marker out there to shoot for. The problem I have is really with how I personally was trained to set goals, how I think most of us were trained to set goals coming up in business, and even as a business consultant in a previous life, I was trained specifically on the SMART system for setting goals, the goals that were the specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound was the system that I was taught. And there's only two reasons I don't like this system. Number one, it's completely ineffective, and I don't generally like things that don't work. And number two, it actually is harmful for the person trying to use this to set goals. So besides that, fantastic system. If you're looking for something you can just take a shotgun approach with, just apply it to everybody, and just give them something to do, then the SMART system's fantastic. However, if you're actually looking to get somewhere, it tends to fall apart. And the reason it falls apart is specifically that achievable and realistic portion. If I'm trying to set a goal and actually move myself forward, and I want to make sure that goal is achievable, well, the only way to determine that is really to look in my past, to look at what I've done before, and use that to gauge what's achievable or realistic moving forward, right? That's where the limiting piece comes in. Most companies, that's why they only set goals of maybe a 10% improvement year over year, because as they look at their past, that's all they've been able to do, and they want to set an achievable goal, so they set a 10% improvement as the goal for the next year, okay? Achievable and realistic. But again, totally limiting. If I look at my own past, and I'm guessing if anyone watching this looks back and looking at anything that you've ever achieved that's really had significance for you, that couldn't have been predicted based on results previously. If you have ever at any point in your life learned to walk, this was not achievable or realistic based on you drooling and laying on the floor on your stomach. It just wouldn't make sense. So if we tried to use that SMART goal setting system, we'd all still be laying around wondering how we're going to get anywhere. Right? So achievable and realistic don't work if I'm actually trying to make significant progress in my business or my life. Therefore, when I'm working with my clients, we use the goal setting system slightly modified. We do SMUT goals. Okay? Much more exciting name to begin with, way more fun to work on a SMUT goal than a SMART goal. And the big difference is, instead of achievable and realistic, my goals that we set are specific, measurable, unrealistic, and time-bound. Now, the unrealistic, that means setting a goal that's so big, that's so far out there, we have no idea. I don't have any idea. The client has no idea how they're actually going to achieve this goal. Okay, it is way out there, way big in terms of these goals, and we don't know how we're going to make it happen. Now, this unlocks something. When I have a goal that's completely unrealistic, the first thing that it does is it causes me to fail before I even go after the goal. Now, in terms of goals that are achievable and realistic, that SMART goal system, well, if I think I can do it and I miss, now I'm a failure. Okay? And that's going to tear me down. I'm also a failure, and I'm stressed out all the way until I achieve or miss this goal. With an unrealistic goal, there's no pressure. The goal is so big, there's no way I could do it. I don't put any pressure on myself. I'm not worried about it from the start. The other thing that it does is it causes me to look not at my past, but to look at who I am in the present moment. If I'm going after a completely unachievable goal, then I've really got to look at who I am now and who I would have to be to achieve such a goal. This is where a lot of the inner growth comes from. Okay? Goals aren't achieved because we strategize and make them happen. Not big goals like this. They're achieved because the person I am has changed. I have to become the person who is capable of achieving such a goal. So then we start looking inside. We start doing that tough work, the inside work, to become the person that could make this happen. And then magically, the goals tend to take care of themselves. So don't waste your time on these SMART goals. They're just going to drag you down and, in fact, backwards. However, unrealistic goals, the SMUT goals, that's where the magic's at.